Hey everyone, it's Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet Merp.
Alright, so this week up on the docket, we actually have an absolutely jam-packed episode.
Not even joking. Like, actually stuff.
Yeah,
And good stuff.
there's a bunch of stuff. So we have the actual update from this week, which we'll be going over after we talk about the newest poll, which is Royal Titans. This was actually teased on the
Cool.
their
Summer Summit?
timeline, the Summer Summit. So the Royal Titans is a new boss, members only encounter. We'll talk about that. Go into the actual update this week, which has been a long time
The
coming.
long awaited Guardians of the Rift update.
Yeah, it
I'm
feels
so
like
happy.
it's been at least 200 years since they said this was going to arrive, and it finally has. And then
Something like that, man.
lastly, we'll be ending off on a pretty interesting note.
Exciting, no?
Very exciting because it is a huge info dump for Leagues 5. This is going to have a bunch of teasers and trailers and stuff about the league. So
Lots of fun
if for
things.
some reason you want to be surprised by this, then I would just get to that point and then stop listening.
Yeah, there's timestamps on the episode, and if for some reason I'll be surprised, I'd say it's like random you're listening to a RuneScape podcast as well. But
Yeah.
that's why we have timestamps if you
We
want to
do
skip
have
around.
timestamps, yeah. And of course, as
It sounds so
always,
judgy. Oh my
we will be ending off with a Q&A
God.
as per usual. Feel free to come around and ask us questions about leagues, OSRS in general, other games, or just regular real life questions like what's Michelle's favorite color?
It's yellow.
It's
Yours is
a
green?
particular yellow.
Yeah, not like mustard. Like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, feel free to ask us those questions anywhere that you can find us in our socials down below or just on Spotify. There's a little section for that, for comments and stuff like that. Or in our discord.gg/boombape, we have a questions section there, which is typically where we get them from, but anywhere is welcome. Without, oh, sorry, not, I was going to say
With
without,
more ado.
without any more ado, there we go. Michelle, how's it going?
Oh, I feel like you really just downplayed how excited I was.
No,
Well,
it's
no, I don't actually have anything exciting. I got 94 agility, and I greenlogged a patrol.
nice.
Now my new mission in life is Brimhaven agility. It's gonna take me like 17 hours.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, I've realized it's a lot more fun question mark for me to level stuff when I'm working on collection log slots. So I'm gonna do this, and then after that I'm gonna work on sepulcher. Because then I'm like mixing it up, and it just feels better, honestly. I wish I'd done that
Wow.
for fishing because I didn't start grinding like collection log slot stuff until I was pretty close. So I'm missing quite a few things for fishing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm missing the golden tench and like the big harpoon, no, the big shark.
The big harpoon shark.
Yeah, the big harpoon fish I got at Tempe. Not trying to
Nice.
brag. That's
Did you
all.
get the pet?
At Tempe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember I got
Oh.
spoons? Like
No,
800 pulls.
I actually didn't even know.
No, yeah, I got it like a tenth the drop rate
Oh, cool.
off stream.
But before I
I
forget,
didn't think I'd get it.
you talking about pools reminded me that someone has been waiting for the Guardians of the Rift changes for so long that they saved up over 60,000 pools and posted it on Reddit.
Imagine if they don't green log.
It was worth like 400 mil. They got like 200,000
That's
like pearls or something.
crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds so. Okay, don't give me ideas because I'm like, what if I saved up?
No, no,
I'm not
no,
patient enough.
no.
I don't know who I think I am.
I don't know how long they saved up for, but it was a crazy post.
Wow. That's all I have though.
Yeah, I don't really have too much this week. Just kidding.
I was like, you play some RuneScape.
Oh, I did play some RuneScape, but honestly, I didn't play that much. But there is actually quite a few things that happened over on the Reddit. For anyone that like obviously has been keeping up, then this isn't going to be news for you. But there is quite a few things that happened this week that were kind of mention.
Okay.
So the first one.
Moppy's blocking it, so I won't see spoilers. Just so you know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So I did tell you about the guy that pulled 30,000 or 60,000 Guardians of the Rift pulls.
Did they green log?
I'm
Surely
assuming
pet.
so because I don't know if they actually got the pet.
Hopefully.
I
Sometimes
actually
it
have no
doesn't
idea.
show up in the collection.
For
log slot.
instance, they got 77 lanterns.
Surely pet.
So
Or it's
surely
just
pet.
absurd.
Surely pet. I don't know. Anyways, though, besides that, I thought it was pretty interesting and worth mentioning that even people that PK extremely regularly There are worse than like the normal PKers.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's for anyone that doesn't know, like PKers aren't all bad, but there are some that are worse than others.
Of course.
And surprisingly, there's someone that is known. There was actually a riot in Falador. Did you know about this?
Was it a right against this PKer?
Uh, kind of. So
No,
this
I didn't know.
PKer, I guess, is like known for exploiting. I think the wilderness in general, but especially bounty hunter.
Oh.
And so
That's
what
their
they
whole thing. They keep
did,
saying that's not allowed.
yeah, exactly. So what they ended up doing is they unfortunately were able to exploit or use some kind of weird tactic. I don't know exactly what it is, but they were able to kill Odablock on his hardcore GIM.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, or I think it was hardcore
But they
GM,
did it in a cheaty
or
way?
it could have just been a hardcore. But either
Yeah.
way, his death was not a good death.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't actually like fair.
no,
Oh, that's lame.
it was very very not.
What's the fun in killing a big content creator in game if it's not going to be fair?
Yeah,
To
so
be honest,
a lot
that
of
makes it
people
way less
were
exciting.
writing in hopes of getting his account back. I don't know what actually came of that, but people were out there and like whatever showing their support or whatever. So I thought it was kind of funny that even top like PvPers
Hmm.
get kind of taken over.
Get pooped on, if you will, by
Well,
cheaters.
it's not even that it's just wanted to point out that like anyone can get taken advantage of
Oh
by
yeah.
like people like that. So
I posted a short this week of me being petty when someone was PKing me. I was emptying pots and stuff, like
nice.
which it doesn't go anywhere. It just like is gone forever.
Yeah, you just drop it on the ground.
No, it's not even on the ground. Like
No, I mean like you
oh
drop it
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just
Like
gone.
lore wise.
Yeah, yeah.
I was emptying them and I made a short of it, and someone tagged the person who PK'd me, so I felt a little embarrassed about that. But I didn't keep any trash talk. I just kept me being petty, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I was scared whenever they were tagged. I was like, what if they're mean? But they didn't really say anything to me, so I was like, okay, good.
Oh, okay.
I was scared.
That's kind of funny.
I should have crossed out their name. Their
Yeah.
name was good. It was like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, that's a pretty.
It's a really
yeah,
good name.
that's
So
a
I
pretty
was
good
like,
name.
okay, like I'll keep the name.
Then they have to be famous, right?
They must be a good PKer.
Yeah, with a name like
Well,
that.
I mean, to be fair, anyone can PK me. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good PKer.
Yeah.
I'm weak.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention is something that happened this week as well. Actually, kind of just missed it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. This is related to the update that we're about to talk
Mhm.
about, so I figure I'll just use it as a segue, kind of. But one of the rewards a lot of people thought was going to be a good idea for the new boss that's coming up, Royal Titans. For anyone that doesn't know, this was already revealed, so this isn't a spoiler. But the boss is going to be two-part. It's going to be an ice giant and a fire giant, and people were kind of disappointed that there is no type of reward that allows you to combine like the ice gauntlet with the goldsmithing gauntlet.
It'd be too busted. I want it so bad, but even I could acknowledge that would be way too good. No one would do anything other than gold smithing and blast furnace forever.
I mean,
Dude, it'd be so much more XP if you didn't have to change clothes.
it wouldn't be so much more.
It'd
You
be
do it
so
in
much
between
more.
running, so it's not like you miss a tick anyways.
I miss plenty of ticks.
The-
Trust me.
Okay, well, I guess if you're paying attention, the only thing that you would actually gain is a single inventory slot.
Yeah,
and not
which
having
is
to pay attention.
significant.
Okay. There was another suggestion though for a necklace that was like half ice, half fire. I thought it was a pretty cool
That sounds
idea.
cool. I don't know what it'd be used for, but it'd be pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. I think someone was saying like it could increase like your damage to like certain weaknesses or something like that.
Yeah.
So it would have like a use for like more end game niche content potentially, but there's a couple good ideas coming from this post.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I did not read this post completely. I just kind of skimmed through it. So
Sure.
I'll let you mostly take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton to go over here because this is going to be a lower level boss aimed at around level 90 to 100 combat. So not super low, but they saw the success of the other bosses, looking at the Blood Moons and what was the other one that they came out with recently?
Amoxolotl.
Amoxolotl is a good one. Huey.
Scurious. You know what?
It was Scurious as well as the Blood Moons, I think is what they named.
A lot this year for mid-level, which is good.
Yeah.
But I've also saw some complaints after like and they're like, okay, we got a lot of mid level. Can we like add some more hard stuff now again?
Yeah,
We're not good at finding balance. We really focus on one too much.
it's unfortunate that it comes in waves like that, because
Yeah.
if they did Coliseum and then they did like this,
Yes.
it's like, oh, okay, cool, you got one super end game and one
Yeah. They
medium.
need to do like back and forth, but I think we definitely like clutter around a certain
Yeah.
kind. Because we got Coliseum, but we also got like 6 mid level things
Yeah, I was
this
like, we
year.
got Coliseum, and then we got Scurious, and then Blood Moons,
And
and then
Moxolotl,
Amoxolotl, and then
Huey.
this, and Huey.
So yeah, that's a
So
lot.
it's, yeah,
I'm not
kind of weird.
complaining because I love me an easy boss that you could just like no life. Obviously, that's why I have 14,000 Scurious KC.
Yeah.
But challenges are nice too.
And,
Me getting so tilted over Dorpus last night. Maybe challenges aren't nice.
well, speaking of challenges, you are going to be challenging these two new bosses, which is going to be Brander, the Queen of Fire, or is it Brandir? I don't know. Eldrick, and the King of Frost. So these
Cool.
are going to be the two elemental bosses you're going to be going against. This is the Royal Titans. And
Yo, Brander's looking
unfortunately,
kind of thick, right?
I mean, they both are. But unfortunately, I really hate this, but these are members only bosses, and it is a dual boss encounter, meaning you are going to be fighting both of them at the same time. It is specifically built around two players,
Which
so
I'm sure within 2 days we'll have figured out do it solo.
yeah, you and a partner could do it ideally, but they do say that obviously you can solo it. But that being said, you will get twice as much loot if you do it with two people. If
Actually
you
incentivizing working with people.
Yeah, literally twice as much. For
I'm
instance,
gonna go here, Megan.
they're going to be doing the same loot mechanic that's from Araxer, which includes searching the body of the bosses, not like a
Oh, for
chest.
improved pet rate.
Yeah, not like a chest encounter at the end for the reward. So it's like you can either search Brandir or you can search Eldrick, and you'll get respective loot. It's going to be themed. They said that the price wise, like money per hour, should be roughly the same. Um, as far as like alkables and stuff like that, but there are going to be specific items that only come like uniques from Brander and Eldrick respectively.
Oh, so you have to pick and choose who you're gonna loot?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they have different drops, different uniques, different drop tables, and if you're solo, you can only pick one.
Yeah.
If you are duo, you can pick the same one, but only two of you get to loot.
Oh,
So
so
if you have
don't
a
do it in bigger groups.
Yeah, you can do it in a bigger group.
Can you do a group
So
of 4? 2 of you loot Brander, 2 of you loot Eldrick?
no, so the way it
Oh.
works is if you have a group bigger than two, it'll only ever allow the two top MVPs to loot.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, so
I get it though.
it's designed for two players at the end of the day, and so
Yeah.
that's what they ended up going with. Obviously, you can, if you really want to, go with 4 or obviously 10 players or whatever, but
You won't get as much loot.
yeah, if you're not doing damage, you will not get loot. And by that, I mean the most damage. So yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting. They say that normally they're pretty cagey with the specifics when it comes to encounters like this, but we imagine many of you have questions on what the boss battle is going to be focusing on. It's going to be focusing on gear switching without targeting very experienced players.
That's good. I will say with the mid-level bosses, it's nice that people are learning all these different things.
Yeah.
It's actually very handy.
On top of that, the main mechanic in this boss fight is going to be weakening both of the bosses simultaneously.
I hate doing that.
Because
It's like the Ulm hands.
yeah, it's similar to that. So once you get like Brandir down to 10%, you also want Eldrick to be down close to 10% because once you kill one of the bosses, the other one enrages, whatever that means.
Oh.
So that could mean them dealing more damage, which is almost certainly the case.
Yeah.
But either way, you don't want them to be up for much longer. So you want them to be low.
That's interesting. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. Both of the Titans boast high magic defense, so you're probably not going to be using that. It's going to have middle of the ground range defense and low melee defense, meaning you should use melee as often as possible, ranged when melee isn't available, and magic is reserved for dealing with additional spawns or obstacles that hinder your movement,
Like what?
making use of elemental weaknesses to dispatch additional threats quickly.
What are these threats gonna be, I wonder?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Who knows?
An Iron Dragon?
Definitely,
Wait, reminds me of the pit
definitely
question.
not.
Also, a black dragon flies over Varrock and kills someone.
I feel like it'll be like you're encased in like a
Ice
like
cube or something.
I was thinking of like an ice fortress, like a cage kind of,
Hmm.
and you can like almost immediately get out of it if you're using fire.
Yeah, this is aspects of this are reminding me of like Ulm a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe there's like
Not in a bad way.
you're like surrounded by like a pit of lava and you have to like frost it to get out of it or something.
I can see that.
So because they do say things that are blocking your movement, so that's what I imagine. Or maybe there are like smaller ads that are elemental style. So the fight is going to be progressively more difficult over time, allowing you to ramp up as your comfort with switches improves. And they can't stress enough that you really want to try and bring them down as close together as possible. I'm guessing if it is like a enrage mechanic like other bosses in other games, then it could be as much as like they get double damage.
Yeah, they say you want to avoid one of the elements getting out of control, which means that already it's going to be a CA to be like, kill them both while they're 20 tiles apart or something.
Yeah, it would be nice if they even took it a step further and were like, the further they get apart in health as well, would bring them closer to enraging. So, like, for instance, if you did bring one down to 10% and the other one was still at 100, then that might also be a terrible idea because maybe the one that 100, like the difference in percentages between their health, maybe gave each of them like a damage buff. Like, I could
Mm-hmm.
see that as well. So, you want to bring them both down to like 90, 80, 70 together.
Okay.
Anyways, though, like I said, it is duo scaled. It's going to be exactly like I mentioned. It's specifically scaled for duo, and it will not go higher or lower than that, regardless of how many people are in your group.
Oh, wow.
But again, only the top 2 players in the group will be able to earn rewards. So it is MVP loot system, which I'm not a fan of, but that's how it is.
That's the way the world works. I wonder how, spoiler, we're getting a pet. I wonder if you'll both be eligible for the pet or how that's going to work.
I don't know.
I don't think they mention at all because I didn't read much about this, but I did search the page for pet to read that.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned the pet specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but I am guessing it's also going to work like a Raxor because they do continue here into the rewards section saying that after completion you'll get to choose either Brandir or Eldrick to loot, but not both. They'll have similar regular loot, but each of them will offer distinct uniques, allowing you to target whichever ones you're most interested in. In larger groups, the top 2 players get to loot one Titan, which could mean that both looting the same Titan or you can loot opposite Titans.
They say here, I don't know if this is a joke or a lore thing because obviously I didn't read the whole blog, but they said your best reward output will come from taking these down side by side with an elf, or perhaps side by side with a friend.
It's so funny you mentioned that.
Is that
You don't
is that
get the
joke?
reference.
No.
This is
I'm like, is there an NPC?
probably one of the only good references they've ever made.
Shut up.
Because it is a reference to Lord of the Rings. It's
don't
whenever.
remember.
Okay, it's funny you don't. This is one of
I've
the
read the books, I swear, in high
by
school.
far one of the most quoted things in all of Lord of the Rings. It's whenever Gimli and Legolas are side by side at the I forgot the name of it, Helm's Deep, and so
Nerd.
what's it called? He's like, oh, I never thought
Oh, yeah.
I never thought I'd fight or I would die next to an elf. He's like, oh, but like, what about next to a friend? He's like, oh, I could do that.
Oh, that's cute.
And so we get into the
Damn,
rewards.
I was like, oh, so if you don't have friends, you could solo with an
No,
NPC.
I was like, what are you talking
No,
about?
it was an endearing reference to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's actually very nice.
But anyways, we do have the uniques. So there is quite a few.
Yeah, the pictures look dope. Would recommend checking them out.
Yeah, so they look kind of cool. And there's 4 of them.
Okay, let's get to it.
Yeah.
First is the twin flame staff. Should I read it even though I don't know about it? I know what you told me.
Sure.
Wait, do you want to go for it? No, God, I'm seeing a lot of numbers.
Yeah,
You take over.
You can go for the next ones.
I don't want numbers.
Yeah, you can talk about the parchment that comes up
Spoiler.
next. So the twin flame staff is going to be a level 60 magic equipable twin flame staff is the name. I don't know why I said it again. But anyways, it looks cool. It's like half fire, half ice, as you can imagine, coming from these bosses. And it's able to auto cast spells from the standard spell book, but with a twist. So whenever attacking an NPC that has an elemental weakness, it has to have an elemental weakness for this to take effect, and that'll make sense for in a second. it'll automatically switch to and cast that elemental spell. So if you're attacking, like, let's say the Barrows Brothers, it'll automatically switch to whatever, like, let's say you have a wave spell equipped, then it'll just switch to air wave because the Barrows are weak to air. Or if you're fighting Zulrah, it'll automatically switch to fire wave. And wave spells are the highest it's able to autocast in this way, so it's not going to work for surge spells.
I could not remember what was past wave. I was just thinking like,
Yeah. And it's going to be dependent on the NPC, obviously. So I guess if you're quickly, this might be especially cool if you're quickly going from like an ice enemy to a fire enemy to
So
a
at this
wind enemy.
boss?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe at this boss. And obviously, if you're using wave spells, this will obviously work as well for like bolts and blasts, but that's just for everyone to know.
Why would you not use wave if you couldn't though?
Exactly, it's just a couple bloods. So, unlike regular old spellcasting, though, the Twin Flame Staff boasts a 6 attack rate.
I wouldn't call that a boast.
Yeah, it's definitely slow. With the added effect.
I would say it suffers from.
So, you are sacrificing a bit of speed for this effect, which is very interesting and unique. The added effect of firing off a spell echo. So, you'll fire off 2 spells at once, though only your initial cast will actually cost runes, so you're not going to use twice as many. So the second hit is actually going to land a tick after the first, dealing up to 40% of your maximum magic damage with the spell that you're using. So this will scale up with your damage as well. And the slower attack speed gives it a really weighty feeling, so they make it, or so that means that the occasional missed tick will feel less impactful for players using it, putting it in an interesting position. And from a DPS perspective, it is actually really good. I think for seemingly the amount of effort and where you are going to be able to get it from.
Yeah.
But it straight up just beats pretty much any item in the game
Shadow?
at an elemental weakness specific boss, except for the Nightmare Staff, because the Nightmare Staff is like the big dog version of the standard spellbook elemental weakness thing. So this will be one step below that. Assuming it is not an elemental weak enemy, then this competes with the Trident of the Swamp until around 81 magic.
That's cool.
Then the Swamp Trident just straight up takes over. But I think even though... Okay, yeah, so even against an elemental weakness boss, though, the Trident of the Swamp only comes to be close to on par with the staff at like 99.
Oh, the shadow?
No.
Oh.
So the twin...
I have a hard time reading these graphs, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so the Twin Flame Staff, they have some graphs here that I'm trying to summarize. So the Twin Flame Staff with the Tome of Fire is, as long as the enemy is an elemental weakness enemy with 50% or more, it is just straight up better than any like charged staff in the game, except for Shadow.
And potentially, depending on your level, better than Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're like a level 80 or something, it's just straight up better than the Shadow if the enemy has elemental weakness.
Yeah.
So it seems to be really good. Like I said, the only thing that really beats it is going to be the harmonized Nightmare Staff, Fire Surge, Tome of Fire combo, which is the maximum standard spellbook damage that you can get.
I don't think I've ever used that.
Yeah, because for the longest time, it was like an over 1 bill setup, so...
Yikes.
Not including the armor.
Barf.
Yeah, so if you want to take a look at the graphs, I'd recommend checking it out. Either way, it lands at a really good spot. Straight up, always better than the Smoke Battle Staff setup. Pretty much always better than the Trident of the Seas. And
it looks cool.
And pretty much always better than the Trident of the Swamp, obviously. So, yeah, so that I think it lands in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah.
And that's poll question number 1 is, should they add the staff?
Next up is Untradeable Prayer Scrolls. Hope you're all ready for me to read this word for word. Even if I'd read this, I would.
Yeah.
Do you want to take over?
No, you can go.
To recap, our focus with the Royal Titans is on gear switching for players starting to get deeper into their PBM journey. With this in mind, we want to explore some untradeable prayer scrolls that grant players access to Deadeye and Mystic Vigor, serving as a stepping stone. Vigor. Vigor. serving as a stepping stone between prayers like Eagle Eye and Rigor and Mystic Might and Augury specifically. The existing jump between the likes of Eagle Eye and Rigor is huge. We believe there's space here that can give mid-game players more to work towards while still leaving Rigor and Augury as a significant upgrade. So they're trying to add more prayers to the game.
Yeah.
Oh, in a casual way.
Yeah.
They are looking to make these scrolls untradeable, but players who already have the means to obtain the Dex or Arcane Scrolls from Chambers of Xeric should not need to grind these out at all. To save on cluttering up the prayer interface, the plan here is for Deadeye and Mystic Vigor to override Eagle Eye and Mystic Might, assuming you choose to unlock them. This should leave your UI looking clean and make it easy to reorder your prayers to keep the muscle memory intact.
Oh, I didn't actually read that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Part of the plan here is to have these upgraded prayers drain your prayer points at the same rate as Eagle Eye, Mystic Might plus Steel Skin, then cut back on the innate defense from the prayer itself. This means you'll be able to turn Steel Skin on for extra defense and a higher drain rate, or take a small hit to your defensive for the drain rate you're already used to. And then number time, Rober. This is not you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. So, like they said, it just sits right above Eagle Eye as it is now. Same thing with...
Deadeye.
No, same thing with the Rigor as well.
Oh, I thought we were saying the name.
No, so...
Deadeye drops from Eldrick, by the way.
Yeah, so Deadeye is going to sit in between Eagle Eye and Rigor. For instance, Eagle Eye is 15, Rigor is 20, so naturally Deadeye is at 18. So it fits right in between. The part where you're going to be missing out is going to be primarily on the strength and the defense side. If you want to get even remotely close to the defense, you are going to have to use Steel Skin as well, which is going to be if you are using Deadeye and the new Deadeye prayer with Steel Skin, it's going to have the same drain rate as Rigor, so
It's not that far behind Rigor, to be honest.
Yeah, it might help get you used to the playstyle or the drain rate, but it's obviously going to be worse. Like, you're still going to want to go for Rigor very obviously.
It's a good mitigame one, though.
And pretty much everything I said also applies to Mystic Vigor, which is the new magic prayer. Again,
just magic.
Yeah, again, Mystic Might is at 15, so Mystic Vigor is at 18, with Augury being at 25.
I think I like these.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I'm 99 prayers, so I don't know if I'm biased because it wouldn't affect me.
I think it's a good in between, because for a lot of your journey as like an iron, for example, a lot of prayers, like these damaging prayers, feel kind of useless.
Until you get the augury.
And well, yeah, until you like your damage starts really ramping up, and or you get augury and rigor. So
Yeah.
I mean, those are still going to be what you're gunning for, but it'll just make it like not as feel bad if you haven't, just camped at Cox for like ever.
Yeah.
So and that is poll question number 2.
Yeah. There's a bit of an elephant in the room here. So with these new prayers being usable alongside Steel Skin and sitting in the low 60s in terms of requirements, this will not be strictly to relate to the World Titans, but we do want to talk about Chivalry again.
Oh yeah, this was a little bit of drama.
I was asking you about this because this is something they've been trying to do, man. They've been trying so hard to change Chivalry. Did they end up changing it? No, they didn't.
No, not currently. So they've pulled Chivalry 2 separate times already.
Yeah, they wanted to set as a reward from Undead Pirates, so you wouldn't have to do King's Ransom. That didn't happen. And then they talked about having it somewhere else, but they don't note it here.
Yeah, I think they talked about it again. I forgot where
they talked about the different version of Chivalry that you can use in the wilderness. That's the other thing they spoke about.
Yeah, like a PvP only Chivalry or something like that.
They really want us to have Chivalry.
Yeah,
for some reason.
They really want to. And
yeah.
I mean, they did, kind of try to clap back at people asking about that. About like, they're like, oh, this is a reworked version. And like, so they're repolling it because it's, a different reworked version that they feel like is a better rework than the original proposition.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are kind of like,
we already voted no.
Like, well, 1, we voted no, but 2, you'll see they kind of do it in not a cool way.
Okay, elaborate for us.
So anyways, everyone knows that Chivalry is a prayer that comes from King's Ransom, and then if you, do the extra waves, then you get the upgraded version, which is Piety. That being said, Piety does require that you have a bunch of defense. So actually all of it does. So Chivalry currently requires 60 or 65 defense, with piety requiring 70 defense. So it's kind of a lot, I guess, but for whatever reason, they really feel like the proposed change. I actually don't know why they're proposing it, but anyways.
They spoke about several months ago. They just don't, because the thing is, if you're going to chivalry, you are just going to immediately get piety.
Yeah.
So they just want to have a different opportunity for you to get chivalry, because no one uses chivalry when literally just staying in the same place for another hour will get you a better prayer.
Yeah, I think they should just the thing
You think
is
they
like,
should move piety?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the thing is, chivalry and piety come from the same place. So as long as they do, as long as you can get chivalry, you can get piety.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to add it somewhere else that's even easier than King's Ransom or even less work.
Yeah. So
You think that piety should be made harder instead?
I think piety should be made harder. I mean,
Honestly,
look
piety's
at
really
rigor.
easy to get compared to rigor and
Yeah, look at rigor and
augury.
augury, dude. Those things
You have to
are
do a raid.
annoying to get. Like
And
a
I
lot
use
of people,
piety all the time.
a lot of Ironmen still don't have that unlocked.
Yeah.
But anyways, they say that with Royal Titans and our proposals for Deadeye and Mystic Vigor, we believe that the changes to Chivalry do make sense here, allowing it to sit in line with them. Having said all that, they have proposed some new changes for Chivalry. So they're going to upgrade it so that it deals 3% more damage from 15 to 18%, as well as less defense. So currently, as it stands, you get 15 attack, 18 strength, and 20 defense. They want to lower it all the way down to 5 defense, but upgrade the attack to 18, like I said. So
Yeah, and you
strength is staying the
wouldn't
same.
have to have a defense level required to use it in the first place.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, look, so prayer requirement, it just says 60, where previously it says 60 and 65 defense. So one defense accounts could actually use this.
That's what I was misreading. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought that was correct, but it said here prayer requirements. I was thinking about it as defense requirements.
No, yeah.
So yeah, 65 defense and 60 prayer, whereas it's 70 prayer and 70 defense for piety, which surprisingly enough was like kind of a difficult grind for my Ironman getting the 70 prayer for piety. But yeah, so this is like one of the things that a lot of people were upset about is it seems like they're really
catering one defense.
They're really trying to make this, and this was in the original proposal as well, is they're trying to make this available for pure accounts.
Yeah.
That is literally the only reason that this is being proposed. They can shroud it as being in line with the other things, which I guess it is, but also you're completely removing 70 or 65 levels of defense required.
I don't know. I'm not that opposed to it, because if you use chivalry as proposed with steel skin, you'll still be getting the same amount.
Yeah.
And you'll be using sorry, I'm trying to read the way that they're saying their drain rate.
You'll be using twice as much prayer.
Yeah. That's
which is a lot.
That is a lot, actually.
I mean, so if
it's the same amount. Why did they word it 2 points per 3 seconds versus 1 point per 1.5 seconds? If you just double, that's the same amount.
Oh, these guys are stupid.
Why did they word it like that?
Yeah, so
that's weird.
They did word it stupidly. So I guess it would technically be a buff, actually. So if you only camped chivalry, then you'd be using half as much prayer, but you'd obviously have much less defense.
They'd have to use steel skin.
So if you wanted the same defense and the same damage, then it would be the same drain. Mm-hmm. So really, I guess it is kind of a buff if you only plan on camping chivalry and not needing the extra defense. But
well, even if you use chivalry with steel skin, it's a buff.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because you're getting this with steel skin. You're getting the same amount of defense.
It's the 3% attack.
Yeah, and you're getting more attack for the same drain rate.
Yeah. Okay. So
I guess, they're trying to bribe you guys.
So you're getting the increase. So you're getting a drain rate buff if you just only camp chivalry, and then you're getting a only stat buff if you are just getting chivalry plus steel skin.
Yeah. So it's an all over improvement if you're using it with steel skin.
Yeah. So they're trying to really.
They want you guys to like it so bad.
They are.
They want you to like
really
it so bad.
They're really trying to convince you that there's no downsides to this.
I'm not opposed to it. But like I said, I already have piety, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I don't like this change.
Because it's catering to the one defense?
It just seems not unnecessary only, but it also seems like out of character.
I do think something needs to change with chivalry and piety being from the same exact place.
I think
That's weird.
honestly, I think it's weird that they're focusing on the easiness of getting chivalry as opposed to making piety more difficult to get.
The thing is, I think that they're afraid people will throw like a bitch fit if they make piety harder to get.
Yeah, but also who's asking for them to change chivalry?
Yeah. Me now. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird.
I don't know. It's weird. Also, I mean, so they talk about all the changes and stuff like that.
They do say, we're excited to hear your thoughts on this one. Just keep it civil.
Yeah.
They know how we can be.
So I don't know. And then their poll question is: should we adjust chivalry, the chivalry prayer, alongside the Royal Titans update as described in the blog?
I might vote yes. Or I might just not vote.
Yeah.
Because I don't care that much.
The reason that people don't like this is because of the way that they tried to introduce it. It was very underhanded.
That they just keep trying over and over now.
Not just that they keep trying over and over again, but even me looking out for it was difficult for them to spot, or it was difficult for me to spot that they removed the defense requirement.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that they specifically said it if you read, but if you're just looking at the chart.
no, they don't say it at all. They say that with our proposals for Deadeye and Mystic Vigor, we believe that the changes to chivalry make sense and allow it to sit in line with the new offerings, effectively by.
They talk about under.
Oh yeah, they talk about it under after they've already shown the graph and stuff like that, but they're not.
You think that they should preface it?
Yeah, absolutely, and also reducing the defense. Wait, where do they say that?
So reducing the defense boost brings it in line with these new offerings and allows the usage of steel skin alongside. The benefit here, particularly with a heavy focus on gear switching from this update, is that if you need additional defense, then you have steel skin on and just swap between chivalry, Deadeye, and Mystic Vigor, rather than seeing steel skin disabled whenever you swap to chivalry. That's how they're trying to justify it.
No, this is just talking about the prayer. This isn't a reference to the defense requirement at all.
Oh, not the defense requirement. I thought you just meant how they lowered the defense.
No, the defense requirement.
Okay.
In all of these paragraphs they're using to describe their changes to chivalry, not once have I seen so far, after like 4 or 5 paragraphs, that they mention removing the requirement.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Do they say it there?
Yeah, they finally say it here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs in. They finally mention moving the prayer from King's Ransom, which requires 65 defense, to Holy Grail, which has no defense requirement. It can be unlocked much earlier in the player's journey. Which, I mean, that also kind of goes against what they were saying. Like, this is a mid-level boss. This isn't early in a player's journey, which Holy Grail is very early in a player's journey.
Early. Yeah.
So that kind of even goes against what they're saying. I don't really understand. It feels like they're trying to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
There's another catering thing.
Oh, what?
We'd also like to propose adjusting the Holy Grail rewards to be lamps so that more players are able to make use of chivalry without others having to miss out.
Nah.
So you can pick and choose which XP you use.
Nah, bro.
I don't know. I'm not
no
opposed
way.
to it, but I also know the whole point of having like one defense is for the challenge.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to have access to stuff.
My whole thing is, like, at what point would we stop doing that?
They said that we aim to provide combat XP via lamps for new quest releases so that as many players as possible are able to experience and enjoy the content.
That is so dumb.
I think it's nice to have people experience stuff, but at the same time, like, you are restricting your account.
That is the whole
You're making it less
point.
restricted.
That is the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
If we're
It's
casually
weird.
like, oh, we like the T-bow, but we didn't really like that it required so much
We
range.
want more people to experience it.
So now the range requirement for T-bow is 60. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way, dude.
Nah.
You wanted to be a pure account. If you don't want to be a pure account, then don't.
I don't mind it because I personally like doing quests and I think that they're fun, so I would not want to miss out on it. But at the same time, it's kind of like the wilderness. Like, you know what you signed up for.
Yeah.
You get complained, but you know what you signed up for.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's literally doing things like you're going out of your way. I don't know who is like messaging you, emailing all the devs every single day, like make this change.
Subs is one defense. I should ask what he thinks about all this.
Because I don't know, as someone looking in from the outside, I obviously don't have a one defense account.
Mm-hmm.
I've made many different kinds of accounts, locked and unlocked, and this just seems ridiculous
It's kind of
at
interesting.
this point. Like, don't change chivalry, move piety to a raid, and that's fine.
That's a hot take too, though.
That would immediately fix this problem.
Yeah, but then people would freak out.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing people would
Heidi
get
is
upset.
so good though, honestly, and it's so easy to get.
Yeah, but also people would get upset anyways. Like,
People get upset, yeah.
look
That's
at
fair.
they're making it better, and people are getting upset.
True.
So it's like I don't know. They said they made similar changes in the past, allowing players to return to Ape Atoll and even complete Monkey Madness 2.
Without accepting Darrow's training.
Yeah, which gives you the XP. And we also aim to provide combat XP via lamps, like you said, for any future content.
If any of you guys are like a Snowflake account like that, where you don't train certain skills, how do you feel about the XP lamps? Do you think it defeats the purpose of it? Or do you like it because now you could do more stuff? Because it's definitely making it easier, right? But I don't know if that's necessarily always a bad thing.
The thing is, I don't understand what this serves. I mean,
it just gets low defense accounts or specific accounts to do more content.
Yeah, I guess so. But the thing is, like, they're already. You're just making a new goalpost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all the players will move to that goalpost. They'll all have chivalry. If you don't have chivalry, you'll get chivalry. And then you'll be there again. Like, what's the point? Are they going to do this with piety? And then it's like, okay, everyone has piety because they made it easy to get. And it's like, what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
I literally don't understand the point.
Anyway,
something that is actually interesting and not a stupid decision.
sorry he got so upset there.
Is desiccated pages.
And these actually sound very interesting to me. So, Eldrick and Brander are no strangers to a spot of magic, so they never go anywhere without their trusty spellbook. While the pages within might prove impossible for you to decipher yourself, they're still worth grabbing if you're able to. So alongside looting the bosses or sacrificing your loot for an extra roll in the pet, you'll have a third choice available to you, stealing desiccated pages from Royal Titan's spellbooks. I didn't realize you're stealing them as a third choice. That's kind of weird. I thought they'd just drop.
And it's also incredibly weird that in this reward pool for desiccated pages, this is the first time they mentioned that you'd be destroying the bosses for an extra roll at a pet. They mentioned that it would work like Araxer, but they never said that it would work exactly like Araxer.
I just assumed when they said like Araxer.
Yeah, but I mean...
Still should be clear.
Yeah, it kind of... At first, I wasn't sure. I thought it was like, oh, you can just loot which body.
Nah. On their own, these pages aren't particularly impressive, but take them to a pyromancer, dip them into the rewards built tempero, so you'll be able to turn them into burnt or soaked pages. So, free pages of whatever you want. The reasoning here is burnt and soaked pages have no combat-oriented drop source. Yeah, it's kind of weird that you have to only do minigames.
Yeah.
We believe that a piece of content leaning heavily into elemental weaknesses represents a perfect opportunity to add a reliable source of these pages at the expense of a traditional loot roll. At the moment, we're targeting an average of 8 to 12 of these pages every time you choose to steal from the Titan's books, which should work out at less loot than your regular loot uniques, but still give you the option to target farm pages if you'd like. We are hoping that this should address some of the hesitancy to use your elemental spells without having the pages. While feeling it takes far too long to grab those pages for them to feel worth using, it should also make for an interesting niche to give your rewards to come back for long term. I like this, but I kind of wish that it was just like a common drop on their drop table.
Yeah.
Not something that you have to loot. I think it's kind of a bummer that you have to choose between them.
Yeah.
But I know that the whole thing is that it's too uncommon when it's random. So I'm like, just make them like 1 out of 10, drop 3 pages. Or 1 out of 3, drop 1 page.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Okay.
Someone else brought up something that I would like much more.
Okay.
But I still don't know if I'd be fully on board. Is I'm not a fan of any content in the game where you just
just in your sentence.
I know, right? Like literally, that's what it seems like.
I'm not a fan of any of the content in the game.
I'm not a fan of any of the content in the game where you go to an NPC to do something.
Oh, like build my next gear for me, or turbo for me.
Like, repair this for me, or empower my whatever. It's like, No, this should have an in-game system for you to do
Do
this.
you like the idea of them changing? Do you think you should just be able to right click and choose?
I think someone brought this up, and I thought it could be a good
Oops.
idea. Is you can go to an altar, a rune crafting altar, which are all based on elements,
Mm-hmm.
and use either a talisman or some kind of rune exchange to turn them into the respective pages.
That one's
Because
good.
you're literally going there to imbue runes with that element.
I mean, I kind of think it'd be cool to just have something in the room with the boss.
Yeah, that just seems too easy.
I think so?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I mean, if you just take a stack, what's the difference? Like taking a stack of like 1,000 to the fire altar where it's like all fiery and turning it there. I just think it seems more thematic.
I'm thinking like Abyssal Demons, has like the pool, something like that. Has like
Yeah,
a water pool and then a fire pool.
I guess I mean that. Like I said,
Outside of the chamber.
either way it would serve the same purpose. But it would be tied to like a different skill, like rune crafting in this example. It could be something else, but just it would make more sense. Like, why are you taking them to a dude?
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think about you not being able to get other drops?
That also kind of leads me to like my second problem
Uh huh.
is while they're fixing, potentially whatever, fixing the supply of pages, it doesn't really fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The main problem with pages is that you have to continually grind that content that you more than likely have already finished
Yeah.
in order to continue using this item, which is ridiculous. And on top of that, they have low drop rate. This allows you to target them, which I guess is okay, but it doesn't feel good sacrificing your rewards for that.
I'd be okay with it if you can still sacrifice your rewards, but they also add it to the loot table. So, like, I guess we would do both. That might be too greedy. I
I
just think it should be on the loot table,
I'd
like
be okay
normal.
with like maybe half and half
Mm-hmm.
or something, but like just not getting any rewards besides like you know
Paper.
1,000 uses, or I mean I don't even know what the exchange is, but like 100 uses of like
I have no
water
idea.
runes or something. It's not cool. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel cool, and it's not rewarding. It's a You're trying to fix a system that you should just fix the system instead
Mm-hmm.
of being like, oh, this band-aid looks cool. It's like, no, my arm's broken, you should just fix it. So it's
So just
like
add to the regular drop table and then it's all fine.
there's that aspect, and also something I've always had a problem with ever since they changed slashed absolutely nerfed into the ground the books to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
the fire book and the water book, is
Now we
that
have the
they
mud book, right?
nah,
Earth book.
the mud book yeah, so the mud book doesn't have this problem, I don't think.
Soiled pages. I love that.
Yeah, no, I was mainly going to be talking about the drop rate.
Oh,
they
they're
nerfed
kind of hard to get.
they nerfed them significantly, and I've done hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of Winter Talk KC over my millions of accounts, and never got a book.
You've never gotten a book.
I've never got a book.
I've gotten Spoon. I've gotten 2 books on my main. I got one on the hardcore too.
Yeah,
So in my mind, I'm like, they're hard to get, but they're not that hard.
I've gotten the pet. I haven't got the book.
Can't believe he got the pet, by the way, and didn't realize he had it. He just assumed it was someone else's pet, and he didn't have collection log notifications on.
Well, I logged off and I didn't even notice I had the pet. And then I logged back in the next day and I had the pet, and I was like, oh, I guess I got the pet.
Yeah, he said he just clicked a bird and it let him talk to it, and he was like, oh.
Yeah.
This is a few years ago.
But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I would if I'm an Iron Man, I would just still never have the pages to even begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you need to fix that problem. You've nerfed the book by 80%, and it's still incredibly difficult to get.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be changed, and yeah, you just need to have like pages should just drop, dude. Like they're not
Thank
crazy.
you.
They're just it's the same thing as getting a rune drop.
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't be crazy.
Just because they're hard to get now, that doesn't mean they should be hard to get.
Yeah. It made sense that they were more rare back then when they increased your damage by 50%. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
So they should be a lot easier to get.
Agreed.
I would vote no on this.
I'd
honestly.
vote no, but it's one of those things I vote no because I want them to adjust it, and I hope that they'd realize I still like the idea. You're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the way people have brought this up more this
Mhm.
poll, but this has always been a problem. They add too many things to these questions.
Yeah, they asked 2 different questions. Should we add them as described? And then they say how you would not be able to obtain them alongside regular loot. And I'm like, that should be 2 questions.
Honestly, I think it should be 3. Because
Yeah.
if they're like, should we add these pages? I'd be like, yeah. Should we add them as described? No. And should they
then,
be converted to no? It's
yeah.
like, this is many questions.
They have been doing that a lot lately. They
Yeah.
bundle questions.
It's annoying. It's like,
it's kind of frustrating.
it's like what people do in politics where they're all like, all right, cool. So everyone's going to get a big tax break. And then over here, we're going to give like these oil companies $5 billion. So,
yeah, and I'm like, do we have to do both?
and it's like, I would like the tax break or whatever it is, but I also don't want to fund them.
Yeah.
But so it's like, you don't need to do those tactics, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb.
Just give options.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it.
Yeah, there is a survey on here as well. I might maybe even take this survey. Don't be a bad idea. But the Royal Titans are coming to you in 2025, so be sure to go and vote. Let them know what you think.
I didn't realize it was so far away. Jesus.
2025 is only 2 months.
That is far away for a poll.
It's like a month and a half, actually, if it's January. What if it's the first update of the year?
I mean, yeah, it
could
probably
be.
is, but the thing is, whenever pretty much the end, like the middle of December, they just stop making
They
content
do because
for an
they
entire
go
month.
on holiday,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Oh
So-
God, I need to start lining up some guests.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's it for the Royal Titans. We have the actual update now.
Which I think I'm at least very excited for.
Yeah.
Are you also very excited?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well, we have Guardians of the Rift update, which we've been waiting months for. It's finally here.
Many months.
We do have some post-beta feedback changes from. This is just like different from the original blog post we talked about back in April. Would you like to read them?
Sure.
Or we'll go back and forth.
These are some changes based on feedback from the actual beta that everyone was able to participate in.
That we did not participate in.
Yeah. So essentially, they improved on the bad RNG mitigation. Anyone unfamiliar with this? They initially proposed that during the first round of the game, there would be at least one medium tier altar.
Yeah, no one likes it when it's an air and a mind.
Yeah, which are both low tier and give you very bad defenses.
Yeah.
And people were saying that essentially this didn't really do much because the chances of you getting a medium in the first was guaranteed, but getting a medium or greater in the second also wasn't like a super high chance because.
Well, it wasn't that didn't do enough, or it didn't do much. It didn't do enough. It needed to do more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, for instance, if you did get the medium in the first round and then you got 2 lows in the second round, it pretty much evened out to what it was before.
Yeah.
Because chances are, if you got 2 lows in the first round, even if they weren't guaranteed or anything like that, chances are you're not going to get lows in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, these stats for like averaging out how often you get mediums and lows, it essentially did nothing by only having the guarantee in the first round. So what they're doing is they're making it so it's guaranteed at least a medium in the first 2 rounds back to back.
If you haven't done Guardians of the Rift, the first 2 rounds is when you make or break the game.
Yeah,
like if you find out if you're gonna wipe or not.
In a small group, absolutely.
Yeah, even sometimes in mass when people are being selfish and not helping.
Well, not anymore because now you can.
Oh, it's changed. The
yeah,
other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get up all the
Thankfully.
shields before the game even starts.
Next, they rearranged the order of interactions on the uncharged cell table. So the default is now take 10.
Who's ever taking 1?
Right?
Why was that the default?
Yeah. You can right-click to use the take 1 option, and the take 5 option has been sent back to the abyss from whence it came. No one ever in their life has used that. You can't even take more than 10.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not, you can't, I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good change.
There's also a window after a round ends where you'll be able to use your cells to create a guardian. This is a window, not like a literal window, but a window of time. So
You
that
look inside a little window.
yeah, so if you have a charged cell, you'll still be able to create a guardian. Nothing will actually happen, but by spending the cell, you'll gain the XP that you would have for creating a guardian.
Yeah, sometimes at the end of the rounds, you're just kind of losing XP because you can't use
Yeah,
stuff.
it sucks if you're just standing there, the round's over, and you have a fire charged
And you're just like,
cell.
I guess I'll destroy this.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Most talismans obtained from the Loot Guardian will be obtained as notes to cut down on inventory clutter.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Well, for the extra things for the real things, we could get into it.
Yeah, so these are the stuff that we've talked about previously. So they did add a system to cut down on frustration for the Guardians of the Rift worlds, where frequently you would see many players waiting outside.
And then spam clicking when the timer's done.
Yes, and then if you accidentally click the portal twice, then you join and then leave and then lose your spot, which has definitely happened to me.
Yes.
Also, they made it so. Oh, because of that, they actually did they even say here what they did?
Yes.
I was like, I see the balancing, but
They made it to be able to enter and leave the game freely.
yeah, at all times.
Yes.
And this next part, the scaling, will only work for any game that has more than 20 players.
Mm-hmm.
So if you still have a small game, you can still come and go whenever you want. You can actually lock it. They don't mention it right here.
Yeah, they mentioned it somewhere else, but you can't lock it in the mass world.
Yeah, so if you go to like, I don't know, whatever random world, like 301, you can go there, and if you only have 10 players, you can lock it so that no one else can come in if you want to do a small team. If you have a larger than 20 player team, then there is a scaling penalty. And by that, like, it doesn't scale atrocious. Like, each player doesn't increase the percentage of the boss by 100.
Mm-hmm.
It only does it by 20. So it's only 20%, meaning that
It won't be too crazy.
yeah, exactly. So that effectively this means that 21 players or more scales things up by a very small margin to account for the likelihood that players in bigger teams aren't pulling their weight or just AFK mining or something.
Yes.
But yeah, also during the game you'll be able to use your cells to recharge barriers even at full HP, and you'll get the maximum benefit of 2,500 rune crafting XP and 450 energy per game. This should result in higher XP per hour, except in extremely long games.
I don't run that long of games. They also, you mentioned it briefly, but I'll say again, that while you're waiting for the game to start, you can use uncharged cells to get barriers or guardians. You won't get runecrafting XP, it's just to guarantee you won't immediately wipe.
Yep. And then, like we said, it is guaranteed to have at least 2 medium cells in the first 2 cycles.
Yes.
1 for each round. And yeah, that's to mitigate you getting the double tier 1.
And if your barrier's destroyed, you'll be able to repair it using 12 Guardian's fragments instead of 10 Guardian essence.
Yeah, because that is much more logical.
Do you see their joke?
Since time is of the essence.
No, they say, well, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of ruined the joke because you didn't say
That's
it.
cool.
Anyway, reward changes. You can now big search the Reward Guardian to obtain 5 sets of rewards at once. You can also pay the Reward Guardian 25 Abyssal Pearls to let you have another dip in the prize pool. This should work out to an extra roll roughly every 14 searches, which should be a nice boost for players chasing specific rewards.
Nice.
Still haven't gotten a die, by the way.
Yeah.
Like 800 polls.
Kind of funny. I almost have a full die set. But the funny thing is that the Abyssal Pearls will roll between 14 and 16. Changed from 10 to 20.
More
so
consistent.
This is to narrow down the variance. That being said, I don't know how well this test was done, but it's funny because someone did a test trying to, I mean, you can easily math this out, so I don't know if they did like 1,000 iteration test, 10,000, or if it was just like 10, or even if it was correct. So obviously take this with a grain of salt. But in their test, there was such an abysmally small difference between the 10 to 20 and the 14 to 16 that it is practically unnoticeable.
Oh.
Like, it is within a percent.
Oh, well, that's not very exciting then, is it?
Yeah, so it's just because the main problem for anyone that isn't familiar with the problem with Guardians of the Rift Pearls is that there's just a very low chance of getting them to begin with.
And you need them to get the outfit.
You
have to buy the outfit.
Yeah, you need them to get the outfit. So, it's, I mean, you also if you go dry, you need them for the lantern as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were saying like, that's fine. It doesn't really change anything. The main problem was always the frequency of you getting them, not how many you're getting.
Yeah, they need to just change the drop rate maybe.
They are very uncommon. It's unfortunate. You can go like at least a dozen. I've gone on many occasions a dozen rewards without getting any.
Yeah, it's all RNG.
Yeah, it's not the best.
But what if you have not been going dry? What if you got Spoon the Abyssal Needle and you're like, oh my god, I am not 85 runecrafting. What the frick am I supposed to do here?
Well, usually before you'd just be out of luck.
Well, let me tell you, now we have some options.
Wow.
Wow. So the Colossal Pouch now scales up with you, cutting down on clicking on the long road to level 85 runecrafting and serving as a valuable boost as you continue on to 99. We are scaling the quantity of essence the Colossal Pouch can store, depending on the other pouches you already use. So if you currently... Okay, here's how much extra you'll be able to carry. So with current pouches, we'll just give like 3 examples. Level 1, you can have 2 extra essence. With updated Colossal, you can still only have 2 extra essence.
Yeah,
I chose the wrong
that was
example.
a terrible one. You should have started at level 25 when it actually makes sense.
I thought it would change.
Why would it change at level 1?
That's really funny. Nothing changed. Anyway, if you're level 25 with a medium pouch, you can have 7 currently. But with the Colossal pouch, you can have 8.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And these do stack as you go up. So for instance, once you get to 39, or once you get to 85 rather, normally you would have 80 or 39 essence, but now it's 40.
Ooh.
But like I said, all of them stack. So once you remove all of the other pouches, fill those with essence, and the pouch holds extra essence. For example, if you had a small, medium, and large pouch that used 3 inventory slots, the transition to the Colossal pouch would actually yield you 15 extra essence overall.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I said, they stack, and you have to account for the extra inventory space.
Oh, I didn't think about the extra inventory. So now you will not have to be bringing every pouch, because if you are grinding for Colossal, you know how annoying it is to bring 4 pouches.
Yeah, so if you
and the
are,
small one's always degrading.
If you are level 25 and you do get a Colossal pouch, then you can just use that single pouch forever.
Mm-hmm. Notably, though, the Colossal pouch will degrade after 320 essence has been stored, so it may feel like it degrades faster as you hit new pouch thresholds. That one's a bummer.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
way,
I actually have the lantern, so it doesn't break.
You can do the lantern, or you can
Redwood
talk
lantern.
to one of the people in the Guardian of the Rift, which is what I did, and you can pay them 1 pearl in order to repair your stuff.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to call the guy.
Yeah, if you don't have access to lunars, then you could just do that.
Yeah, true.
Which is, yeah, I did that on my Iron Man, and it felt perfectly fine.
Fair, okay. Next, moving on from Guardians of the Rift, we have some mobile UI and official client fixes.
Yeah, so for anyone that was sleeping under a rock last week, there was some big changes to mobile. It got the
huge update
overhaul finally, so you can check that out. But there were a couple fixes with the game update. So the bank pin interface no longer overlaps by the left-hand side panel.
And after depositing Pager in the Hopper and Motherlode mine, the Sax counter now correctly updates to display how many ores you've deposited. Both those have already been fixed.
And this did remind me there is still an issue for anyone at Jagex that may perhaps be listening. I know you're not, but if you are, then for some reason on mobile, people can see if you're wearing a clan cape and a clan flag, but not in the regular client. It's still invisible. It's been invisible for like 4 weeks now.
That's must be frustrating people who actually like pay attention to their clans.
Yeah.
Curse of Arav fixes. I still have not done this quest. I keep using my music cape to telly for clues and then be like, oh dang, I can't use it.
Yep.
This week brings a range of fixes to the quest. So Arav's range defense stats are now calculated and displayed correctly. It is no longer possible to walk into a wall at the Uzer Mastaba. Womp womp womp.
Okay.
The messenger who delivers Elias's message will now be able to find players while they're in bank areas. And if a player is venomed when defeating Arav, their venom will now be cured when they begin the cutscene.
Yeah.
How many people must have died to realize that?
At least one hardcore.
At least. Oh, stop.
But I think it's funny because whenever they add new quests, honestly, they don't come out with quests super often.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone that doesn't like doing quests and doesn't do them often, it reminds me of the Green Mile meme where he's like, Michael Clark Duncan's like, "I'm tired, boss."
That's sad.
That's me whenever I get the cape and then it gets taken away.
We have some wilderness quality of life updates. So last week they shared a news post full of the updates they plan to release, but surprise, they already introduced them.
Wow, these are some crazy big quality of life things.
We'll go back and forth.
Such as now you can use blighted items in the Ferox Enclave and Mage Bank.
You can now delete a loot key if it's worth more than 30,000 gold. The limit has been increased to 1 million.
Yeah. You can also loot from the Larynx chest, and the Muddy chest will now go straight to your looting bag if it's open.
Fixed an unusual interaction across single multi-combat borders.
This is
Please don't make me read this.
This was just a fix if you were attacking someone in multi and someone in singles was also attacking that person in multi. This
Yeah.
no longer works.
It was just a way to cheat.
Yeah, it's just it was a way to gang up on someone in multi while not being in multi. So now this interaction will not be allowed to happen.
In the Bounty Hunter worlds where the PJ timer is shorter, we're removing the anti-boxing mechanic that allows players to PJ you after hitting multiple zeros in combat against an NPC.
Also, aside from the quality of life stuff, there's two other tweaks. They made the escape crystal now disabled in the permanent dead man world.
And they fixed a bug where 2 of the map links from Scorpia's dungeon weren't working.
Ew.
Ew.
Also, it's I like the people that post. It's been however many weeks since they said they were going to add more stuff to Scorpia's drop
Where's
table.
our Scorpia unique?
Dude, they said they were going to revamp her drop table like 100 years ago.
I feel like I'm gaslighting myself, and I'm like,
It is
they
crazy.
did, right?
Yeah, so if you want a free digital comic to celebrate their new comic line that came out, then you get a free one.
Cool. You can download directly from their merch store.
Yeah,
That's sick.
I wouldn't expect a lot. I mean, all these comics, even the ones you pay for, they're only like 10 pages long, but they are pretty cool. So if you like the art, then you can check it out for free.
Yeah. You can also order the physical version from the merch store, of course, or check out Titan's Comics handy blog for all available issues, covers, and ordering details.
Yep. It looks pretty cool. And
the Halloween event's gone.
the Halloween
I'm glad I
event
got you to
is
do
gone.
it.
I did it last week
Yeah.
on my new
You
account.
did it on Monday because I was like, Robert, you need to do is leaving in 2 days.
Yeah, so thanks to all the ghosts and ghouls who helped Marika out in this year's Halloween event. With October over, we're packing up the decorations for another year and removing the event from the game. GG.
Aww. Bye. Bye, little cat ghost.
Yeah.
I love you so
It was
much.
sad. I'm glad it's gone.
It was like pretty emotional quest.
It was sad.
Yeah. We also have some community merch. So we have more RuneScape designs. This one is a Zora mousepad with creator crafted. It looks so dope. The art is by Amentos, by the way.
Yeah.
For some reason, it won't let us click it.
Instead of linking their actual page where you buy it, it's just their Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's the artist Twitter, to be fair.
Sure.
I love these, by the way. They also have new LED signs we have for Rigor and Augury. I really like the Rigor one.
Yeah, I think
The
they
Augury is
both
just a
look pretty
triangle,
good.
so.
If you want the mouse pad, they do have a link to it. It is
look at the Duke one.
further down below. They have a Duke one.
Wow!
They still have the Araxor one that we mentioned, as well as the new Zulrah one.
They have a lot that they haven't mentioned. Like, the Jad looks really good.
They have Jad. They have the Fortis Coliseum, Theater of Blood, Tomb of a Mascot.
Oh my gosh, where's the wise old man on a mouse pad?
Yeah, it's like finding Where's Waldo, and then they also have a Chambers of Zarek.
That's so
All
cool.
the mouse pads look good, high quality. It looks like they're made out of cloth that you can easily wash, and they're all 45 USD.
I think they look very cool.
Honestly, probably of all the creator crafted things that they sell regularly, this is
You like those
probably
the most?
one of the better items.
Which
to
one
get.
would you get if you got a mouse pad?
Maybe the Where's Waldo one.
The Where's Waldo's pretty freaking cute.
Or I like the Chambers of Zarek one too.
Chambers of Zarek was pretty. I would do maybe the Jad though.
The Duke one's cool.
Duke looks cool, but the eyeball would get dirty. And my
The eyeball would get
my
dirty.
keypad would be covering it. That giant mole plush is looking pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, there's plushies as well as rune plushies, little 3D printed things. So maybe go check out the Creator Crafted if you want to like gift for someone coming up this
Christmas is
holiday
coming
season.
up.
Yeah.
Wow, Drainer Village mouse pad. That one's huge.
Yeah,
And
they're
it
all the
looks
same
so
size.
pretty. Well, that one looks more tall.
Yeah, they're all big.
Oh, Piety Prayer. Oh my god, they have way more stuff. Okay, you guys go check out Creator Crafted.
Yeah, pretty.
I love all these.
Pretty neato, but yeah, check it out if you want.
Yeah.
And you can get 10% off if you use the code ZOLRA all caps.
Do that. I have free stickers from them. They were giving me free stickers, presumably, so you'd also order stuff, and I just took the free stickers.
Nice.
They're cute. I like them.
Yeah, meow.
Meow.
All right, so we are back. It is the next day, and I'm wearing the
Hello.
same shirt. So
Orange to match our bowls.
yes. Anyways, so we are going to be going into some news. We do have some updates from yesterday, which is kind of just going to be the theme, because anyone that doesn't know, Leagues 5 has been having teasers for the past 4 or 5 days at this
Yes.
point.
I'm so happy about what we were complaining about last week, if you listened.
Yeah, so they're going to have teasers revealed every day leading up until 2 days before the release of the league itself, which is on November 27th.
I need to say
So
my conspiracy.
until November 20th, I don't agree with her conspiracy, but until November 25th, there will be additional information on the league every day.
So, my conspiracy is because they're ending it 2 days early. And if you don't remember, last week, it wasn't just us. I guess people on Reddit were complaining about there being no teasers.
Yeah, sure.
I think. I don't know. I don't actually even use Reddit. He told me this, so it's your fault.
I didn't tell you this.
Well, now you make me sound like a goober.
Yeah, you're just losing
Anyway,
it, dude.
my conspiracy is that they weren't going to start publishing these until Wednesday. They started on Monday instead. And that's why they're going to stop saying the spoilers 2 days early. Because they moved it ahead.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory.
I don't think so, because I don't think it would make sense to release information continuously until the day of the release.
I don't know. You could release like a tier 8 one on the last day.
Again, I don't think it's not enough time for people to get like hyped about it. Like the whole reason of teasing it early is to build hype and also to let people plan. And if they just wait until all the way until the event is practically starting to release the last one, then it's like,
Could be kind of cool.
I mean, it could be, it won't be, but because that's not what's happening. But it could have been, I guess.
Did you have things to update? I don't.
I kind of had one thing that I thought was interesting. Someone did bring up something to my attention that apparently the Dragon Hunter wand. This hasn't got a lot of traction, but it does seem to be accurate. Is I think at the time that I'm saying this, it only has like 50 upvotes, so probably nothing will happen with it. But it's one of the items that was polled previously this year and has been released. But it was pulled and passed the poll with a bit of magic defense, and it actually didn't roll out with it.
Weird. They be doing that.
It's not a ton. It's like 15, but the item kind of sucks already, so it could use anything.
Honestly, I used it at Huey, and it was nice.
Yeah, I was like, so the item could use anything it comes with, which is, I mean, it comes with 15 offense, I think, and it should come with 15 defense.
Yeah.
But it didn't roll that way, so hopefully that gets changed. Probably won't, but
probably another small thing in 3 months they'll notice on there and be like, oh god.
Yeah, it's something they'll fix in 5 years. But so speaking of stuff that they hope to fix in 5 years.
No, you're supposed to say, speaking of Leagues 5.
Oh.
Because I don't know what would be fixing in 5 years.
I was gonna say fixing their like pipeline of processes so that we get leagues every year instead of once every 1.5 years, which doesn't make any sense.
Okay, well, these past 2 years they've been consistent. Last year was around the same time.
I think it's been consistently inconsistent.
It seems like they're trying now.
It's existed every kind of year.
Well, now it's been actually 1 year.
Yeah.
It started November last year.
Okay. But anyways, we have Leagues 5 teasers and
Teasers.
lasers and
Laser
phasers.
beams.
So we also have some FAQs and a bunch of information dropped. Kind of like I mentioned at the top of the episode, there's a ton of information. So we are going to breeze through some of it. Obviously, if you want the whole thing, I would just generally, if you're interested in leagues at all, kind of check back because they're going to continually update
every day
this thing with additional drops, which means additional information. If you plan on planning out where you're going to, if you plan on planning out any part of leagues, then you might want to just peek in from time to time.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. Oh, side note, that's not relevant. We did have one more update. We're actually going to be, if anyone's interested and listens, we're going to be on the Sebe cast this weekend.
Yeah, Sebe podcast.
Yeah, we're recording on Saturday. So if you want to drop topic ideas, go to his tweet. You will have 24 hours by the time this episode's out to say something.
Yeah.
So if you want to.
Yeah, feel free to ask us questions.
Yeah.
I cannot promise whether we will answer them there or here.
Both.
Yeah.
We'd probably do that.
Anyways, though, we do have Leagues 5, so enough floundering. It does begin on November 27th, like I just mentioned. And to make it a little bit more bearable, they are going to be dropping surprise reveals about the league every day, just until before the launch.
2 days before.
Yeah. They're
also what I think.
Yeah, they're also going to be including a quick FAQ for anyone that either is newer to leagues or just has some questions, clarifications.
It's not too crazy of a list either.
It's not. If you're wondering what on earth a league is, you might want to check out the Summer Summit where they talk about it. But it does show all the rewards back there as well if you're interested in those. But generally,
Temporary game mode, boosted XP, boosted everything, and you smack harder.
yeah.
It's easy escape.
That's essentially how it goes for anyone that doesn't know how you will build up, because we're going to talk a lot about relics. So in order to get the relics, I'll quickly go over the premise of how you progress in a league. Essentially, you can do tasks throughout the league.
And one thing about me, if you guys have been listening, you know I love a task.
Yes.
Like achievement diaries, comment, anything that I'm like checking off. God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
If you are in the same boat, or if you just like seeing progress, big numbers go up, then you might enjoy leagues as well. It does, like Michelle said, have extremely boosted XP rates, which seem to also increase the more points you get. And as you increase points, you get these points by completing tasks. It can be anything from like
Cutting a tree.
cutting a tree, killing a goblin, doing a quest,
Talking
or
to an NPC.
all the way up to the hardest things, which do give you more points, such as like Inferno or raids. All of them give you points, but obviously it's a varying amount.
Yes.
As you get into these points and you build up more, you break through certain breakpoints and intersections in the game, which will reward you with additional powers to like further ramp up your progress. So these are called relics, and we're going to be talking a lot about the relics that have been dropped in these teasers so far.
Talking about it's making me so excited. We had so much fun at the beginning of leagues last year. It sucks because we work the day it comes out, but we don't work the next day. Whenever we go to your family thing on Thanksgiving, I fear I'm just going to be on mobile playing RuneScape, by the way.
Yeah, we might not go to our family Thanksgiving because of leagues.
Yeah, because if you guys were listening last year and watched on YouTube, we were literally on our phones playing leagues while recording the podcast. They were probably very bad episodes.
Yeah, they probably were.
We were doing that because we didn't want to stop playing.
Yeah, that was definitely the case.
It's so much fun.
So we can get into some of the reveals. We'll go through them in the order that they were released, starting on November 11th. This was the reveal for the Tier 1 relics.
Yeah, these ones are more skill-based, not really PVM. So first, we have the Power Miner relic. Remember, you will have to choose between these three. You cannot have them all.
Yeah, these are the starting relics you get at level 1. You don't have to do anything. You just get them immediately. And for anyone that isn't aware, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like last year. You start with Misthalin and Karamja auto-unlocked.
They say on there, yeah.
Yeah, so those two areas are auto-unlocked, but if you want to go to a different area like the desert, you have to get enough of those tasks completed and points done in order to unlock them, and you can only unlock up to 3, I think it is.
Yes. Should we go back and forth reading these?
Sure.
The Tier 1 is the longest of all of them. But they're very exciting, so.
We can briefly summarize all 3 have...
We should go through them, no?
No, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish. I was going to say that to save some time, all 3 of these relics, the beginning of all of them work the same in, perspective for each element. For instance, whenever you fail to mine a rock, you'll have a separate 50% chance to succeed. So that works the same for power miners for rocks, the same for a lumberjack, which we'll cover in a second, whenever you're cutting a tree, and the same for animal wrangler, which is a
fishing one.
Which is the fishing one. So
another thing of note is that all of them are basically equivalent to the crystal variant of them, but you can use at any level, and you have to have the item in your inventory or equipped to gain these bonuses.
Yeah, and all the items are automatically sent to your bank. So that
optionally.
Yeah, optionally, and all of that is the same for all 3 of these that we're about to talk about. But everything else is going to be unique.
Okay, so the Echo Pickaxe will cause the rock to not deplete until you have mined 4 ore.
That is pretty crazy, considering
the next line, if you want to read it.
Especially because the buff actually stacks with mining gloves. For anyone that doesn't know, this makes it so that the cap goes up by 3, so both of them stack for a total of 7 ores for a given node.
That's so good.
That means that you can mine the runite that is in the mining guild 7 times.
That's so good.
Before it depletes.
I didn't even think about the runite one.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. It goes from 1 runite to 7 every 12 minutes.
Jesus. You'll also be able to toggle the following effects on and off of the pickaxe. First, collected ores are automatically smelted and grant smithing XP regardless of your level.
Yep.
And second,
The gems gathered from mining are automatically cut and grant crafting XP regardless of your crafting level. And before someone comes at me, I know that it's not actually going to be 7 for Runite. I'm just saying.
is it not?
No, because
It's like 7 depending on what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It would be 7 for like iron.
Okay. Well, 4 at least.
Yeah, it would. I think it would be just 4 actually. For
I don't
the
own those
Runite.
gloves. I don't know what they do.
Yeah. The next one is going to be for the lumberjack. This is the Echo Axe. As you can imagine, it pertains a lot to woodcutting.
Yeah, so you'll be able to toggle the following effects on and off for the axe. Automatically burning logs for fire making speed, regardless of your fire making level.
And all of these are important. Make sure to keep this in mind for like the ones that say regardless of your level, because
That means redwoods.
you can be cutting redwoods and burning redwoods at level 1 fire making.
But you do have to be level 9 to do woodcutting.
Yeah, you do have to. Obviously, that's not
Yeah.
probably going to be the case, but that, take that into account. Also, automatically fletching logs into arrow shafts for fletching XP regardless of the fletching level.
There's additionally one given benefit to fire making, so you'll never fail to make fires with any log at any fire making level.
Yep.
Wow.
Also, we're probably going to forget to mention this, so I'll say it now.
Oh, yeah.
All of these items are retrievable from the sage if you lose any of them or die or drop them somehow.
They're just gone forever for the rest of the leagues.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is the only one that is,
This is a lot longer.
a bit different from the other ones because in addition to it having a 50% chance to not fail, also when fish are caught, they have a 50% chance to be automatically cooked and giving you the cooking experience regardless of level.
I don't think we said we've moved on. We're on Animal Wrangler now. This
Sorry,
is the fishing
yes.
one.
Yeah, this is the fishing one.
Got ahead of it.
Yeah, you get the Echo Harpoon, which does work as the crystal variant for everything. So it works as a net, as a harpoon, as a cage.
Lobster pot,
and
everything.
anything that can be fished, you can use this with.
Yeah. You also attempt to catch fish 1 tick faster.
Yeah, so that's definitely something unique about this one. And this one doesn't actually only pertain to fishing, which is also very unique. It also works for hunter.
Yeah.
This makes it so that your hunter traps never fail.
Box traps catch chinchompas faster.
And chinchompas are doubled, giving double XP.
Impling jars no longer break upon opening them.
And lastly, you never cook food or you never burn food while cooking. So it's the cooking cape.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very, very good. For anyone wondering, maybe I was considering like making a video on like theory crafting or
You
like
should.
starters, like stuff to consider when doing this. A lot of people seem to think that the animal wrangler one that we just discussed would be the best potentially if you want to get right into bosses and raids.
Well, the thing is that I brought up to you. Okay, I will probably choose the Animal Wrangler. Like, to be honest, I'll probably like the cooking and stuff automatically with fishing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, thinking back to last year in leagues, once I unlocked Tob, I didn't cook that much because me, Dating, and Megan would go into Tob, do Maiden and Bloat, and then just fill up our entire inventory with brews and then just leave.
Yeah.
So that's another easy way to get food if you don't want to do this. If you want the other benefits, but you want free brews, you can just get them at Tob like that easy.
Yeah, so there are different strategies, obviously, but a lot of people are saying that this is really good if you want to expedite your account's progress. But the mining one,
That's your favorite.
the power mining one, I think it's just really good if you want to max your character
It's just something you're interested in, right?
it just makes mining and smelting and crafting much faster and passive. So if you want to do that, then if you plan on getting 99s this time around in this league, then maybe consider this one. And then a lot of people just generally think that the lumberjack one is a little underpowered.
Yeah. Well, which one do you think you'll be choosing?
Maybe animal wrangler.
I think that makes the most sense for PVM probably. But the thing is, I also don't want to do mining. And there's a lot of mining point related things.
Yeah.
Because last year I had the production project or whatever. So everything would smell in one inventory. But I don't know if we're going to get that again.
I think we might get something obviously
I loved that.
not as powerful as power mining is strictly for smelting, but I think we'll get other production type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just maybe choose those to supplement it. But I think getting the food out of the way early will help for like all the quests and stuff going forward.
Very true. And the double chinchompas is nice.
Double chins is nice.
November 12th reveal, that was Golden God. So, and
There's also a subsequent video for everything we're talking about.
yes, yeah, I didn't watch the videos. I think he did.
They don't really say anything. They just have an animated, cool way of showing you these things we're
Oh,
talking about.
the
And
designs are very pretty.
yeah, and they're all on the RuneScape YouTube.
Yes. So, Golden God, this relic effect, you gain the following benefits to the high and low alchemy spells.
You also can use these spells at no cost and no level requirement.
Items give 15% more gold and have a 65% chance to not be consumed.
And whenever you have a stack of items and you cast the spell on it, it'll continually auto recast the spell on that stack until it's depleted or moved.
That is so crazy. So you could just be like at a boss and it'll
Yeah.
just keep
So
high
for
alching
yeah,
it for
for
you.
instance, if you are like mining and you have a stack of like 1,000 plate bodies, you can just high alch while mining.
That's crazy. And there's actually I'm going to skip over the prayer part just to say this as well. So all items purchased from some select stores can be noted, provided the item can be noted at all. So you can just buy everything noted and then just AFK and do whatever while it's high alching.
Yeah, this is
It's pretty good.
very very similar to the noting one from last league.
That we didn't do, huh?
That yeah we did I think we ended up doing fire sale instead.
Fire sale is how I made all my money.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really really good. Also, you can sacrifice 20,000 coins at any prayer altar in exchange for the equivalent XP of a dragon bone, and this works at things like the chaos altar, which gives you essentially 7 times returns on XP.
And remember, you're also getting the league's bonuses as well.
Yes.
Which is, I think it ends up being like 12 times as much when you're super, super high tier.
It's a lot. And also, you have to keep in mind that people have already done some calculations because, for instance, this line, one of the lines that's most important, says that items give 15% more gold and a 65% chance not to be consumed.
Dude, that's such a big chance not to be consumed. Wow.
There are certain items that, because you have a more than 50% chance, will eventually break even if you buy them, and some of them are really expensive.
Yeah.
So there are a few items in the game that cost millions and high alch for millions that you can buy.
Really?
And there is a break even point.
Oh.
So if you get lucky or unlucky, you could do them earlier or later, but yeah, people have already started to do like best alchable like statistics and stuff like that.
Nice. Moving on to yesterday's reveal. This is Echo Bosses and Rewards. So brand new to Leagues 5 are the Echo Bosses. These are harder, right? Versions.
Yeah, apparently much more difficult.
Yeah, of some of the familiar bosses in the game. And they also have a chance of dropping something a little bit special. So that's kind of like, what are they called? Like the Echo...
Yeah, they're the
stones or something.
Yeah, so they're like echo shards.
Yeah. And then you can use them to go and like unlock the boss completely permanently.
Yeah, and if you are also like unclear on something we've said or just would prefer a more polished version of this entire write-up on Leagues, RuneScape did team up with creator Skritic to make an actually very long video.
You watched it all, right?
Yeah, they detail every aspect of Leagues in general, as well as they go into every single Echo boss and what they drop.
Nice. Well, we'll get into it in a less detailed manner, starting with Asgarnia, which is the Echo version of Cerberus.
Yeah, every zone that is unlockable has one Echo boss,
with a dope drop.
For the most part, whenever you kill the regular version of the boss, has a chance to drop a thing that unlocks permanently the Echo version.
Yes, I think I mistakenly said that you get that from the Echo boss. You get it from the regular boss first.
Yeah, so this first one, like you said, is from Cerberus.
I know you want to say the name of the weapon.
So this
You want to say what it does first, then say the name?
Well, this is one of my favorite items. So this is from Asgarnia, like you said, from Cerberus, so you have to kill regular Cerb. And then it is a combination of every god sword in the game combined. So
all of their effects.
It has the same exact stats as a god sword, but the special attack, which costs 50%, does every special attack for every god sword in the game.
That is so crazy.
So it'll freeze the target. It has increased accuracy, increased damage, stat reduction, marks them for ancients, and also restores your hit points and your prayer. And it is called the Dog Sword.
That is such a good name.
Yes.
I love whoever came up with that idea. That is so cute. They
It's
should
great.
have made it look like a puppy though.
They should have
No,
made,
look at
yeah.
the hill.
Okay.
Because the next one looks kind of silly. So in the desert, we are going to have the Echo variant of the Calphite Queen. She is going to drop the dry gore blowpipe. It
Yep.
looks weird, like a little. You know what it looks like is an edamame.
It does look like an
It looks like a little
edamame.
edamame, but with like the coloring of Calphite Queen.
Yeah.
It says that this will roll for accuracy twice, taking the highest result, and uses darts for ammunition.
So
it's
it has
a
the same
better blowpipe.
the same exact special effect as the old original Fang when it first released, and everyone thought it was the most busted item in the game.
Oh, like the that we never got.
No, this is the one that we got.
Oh yeah, it was really good, huh?
Yeah, it used to roll twice for accuracy because it was bugged
That was
and
funny.
would just have insanely high accuracy.
Bring back the bug.
Uh,
They did Calphite Queen. She's a
and
bug.
someone, I forgot to shout out who they were, but I did see a post earlier today on the subreddit. Someone kind of did a rough sketch up of like the differences between the blowpipe, or the differences between all of the echo items
Compared to the normal.
compared to the normal items.
Oh.
So if you want to see like how much better it is relatively, or like what the advantages are, then maybe go try to and find that on the subreddit. Most people aren't going to care, but if you do,
Just
then
in case.
go check it out. This next one is going to be for Mauritania at the Grotesque Guardians. You do need the required Slayer in order to get the Brittle Key at first, obviously.
Of course.
And this is going to be the Gloves of the Damned. Has the same exact stats as the Barrow's Gloves. Obviously, you don't need to do the quest line to get them, though. And wearing these gloves counts as wearing an Amulet of the Damned. If you are wearing an Amulet of the Damned and these gloves, then the set actually stacks the effects.
Oh.
And anyone not familiar with the Amulet of the Damned, it's an amulet that comes from the
Shades of Morton
minigame. And it's a necklace that doubles the effect of the Barrow's set
So
items.
it'd be 4 times as good? Because it also doubles it.
Yes.
Wow. Pretty good.
Yeah. So, or I don't know if it.
Well, they say here, doubles the effect of all Barrow set effects and Amulet of the Damned additions.
Yeah. So the Amulet of the Damned doesn't double it. It increases it by like 20% or something like
Okay,
that.
so
It is a good
Good.
amount. So, for instance, your previous max hit with full Darox is 106 if you're at 1 health. Wearing this, I don't know if they did the calculations with the amulet, but just wearing this, it gets up to around 160. So it's an additional over 50 attack. So
pretty nice.
yeah, it's okay.
It's not no dog sword.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was telling Robert, I think that this is probably less exciting because people are going to be there anyway for Tob. So they don't need the coolest thing to convince you to get Mauritania.
That being said, if you have access to this and you don't have access to Corinne, which gives you obviously the robes, then the Aram set might be your next best set, and that actually has a chance to hit twice, is what I think it is. Or it has a chance to deal like 50% more damage. Something like that. Like it's
So,
actually a pretty good set.
Very good for mage.
And it can autocast Ancients.
Nice. Well, I guess I'm definitely going to go for that because I'm unlocking Tob for sure.
Yeah, if you're
I didn't even think about
exactly.
it.
I was
Oh,
like, if you're
cool.
unlocking Tob and you're going to like, I mean, maybe eventually you'll go to TOA and you'll use the staff over the full Aram set.
I don't know if I'm going to be grinding TOA like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it might be a good interim set. The thing is, you have to get the full set for
Yes,
it to
of
work.
course.
So
Next is Wilderness. KVD has their own variation. There's actually 2 items that you can get, which I think is them trying to bait you to the Wilderness.
there's only 2 bosses that drop 2 items: KBD as well as Soul Heredit, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes. So first is the Thunder Kapesh. Special attack, it attacks twice. If either attack is successful, an additional lightning bolt is summoned, rolling up to 100% of an original attack's max hit. Special effects, deals full damage to the Court Beast, 20% chance to trigger AoE lightning bolt under the target, hitting anything in 3x3 radius, rolls with 50% original attack's max hit.
And it is a one-handed weapon. It can be used with the other item that drops from KBD, which
Yeah.
is a item called the Thousand Dragon Ward.
That's a fun name.
It is. The defenses are very good, right around a regular dragon shield, and also incredibly high offensive stats, even higher than the Avernic.
Yeah, and it's super busted specials.
Yeah, the special effect makes you immune to practically every negative effect in the game, including poison, venom, dragonfire,
Disease, desert heat, ice prison, everything. Ice
brim,
stat
even the
drains.
brimstone dungeon floor.
Yeah,
A lot of
they're
things.
really trying to tempt you in there.
Yeah, it is very, very good. And so, I mean, it's
I'd be more tempted if I could have more than 3 regions, though.
yeah. Luckily, KBD is a safe area. So if you're worried
Yeah.
about the wilderness, hopefully not too many people are camping the entrance.
Kandarin, we have the thermonuclear smoke devil dropping the devil's element. The thermonuclear smoke devil looks very cute in this color scheme, I'll say.
Yeah, a little
Our
goofy.
bisexual queen. Special effects are elemental attacks that exploit an NPC's weakness will treat the weakness as twice the amount and provides unlimited elemental runes when equipped.
Yeah, and
Any elemental rune.
It's an offhand that does give you some magic and magic strength bonus with some prayer. And for instance, anyone that doesn't know, like Fire Giants has 100% weakness to ice. It'll be 200% with this equipped.
So, if you are doing stuff that's weak to things, potentially pretty
Yeah,
busted.
like Zulra.
True.
The next thing
This
is going to
was pretty
be.
good.
I lied, but I kind of didn't lie. The DKs come from the Fremnik zone, and these
Hey, you
also.
thought it was Asgarnian when we were talking yesterday.
No, I was going to say that these also drop 2 items, but it's 3 bosses. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And these items are good.
These items are incredibly
Like,
good.
maybe actually might want for Minik.
Yeah, these are incredibly good items. So they are going to be the best in slot necklace and ring, and it's the amulet of the monarchs, which gives you 30 all attack, 30 all defense, and additional bonus strength to melee, ranged, and magic with 10 prayer.
Nice.
And the exact same stats apply to the Emperor Ring, which gives you, again, 30 alt attack defense, 15 melee range strength, and 5% magic
So
magic
that's-
damage. So it's slightly less magic damage than the necklace, but it's still 5%.
Yeah, and it has the other bonuses.
All the other bonuses are the same though.
They should have made it exactly the same. Make it even more tempting.
It's still
Well, the other one's in Kandarin,
It's still
though.
crazy. You get
Yeah.
60 defense and attack by using these two.
Yeah.
30 strength and 20 prayer, which is like as good as entire sets of gear just with 2 items.
Jesus. Next in Tier Win, we have Hunlif. So this will give you the Crystal Blessing. The Crystal Armor bonuses, the special effect. Crystal Armor bonuses for accuracy and damage apply to all melee weapons whilst equipped. So Crystal Armor is just your new best in slot.
Yeah, so for anyone that isn't familiar with the set effect of crystal armor, but while wearing the entire set, being the helmet, pants, and chest, it gives you 30% additional accuracy and I think 15% additional damage.
And you don't even have to be using the Bofa.
And it does work for all melee items, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. The thing is that the armor itself doesn't provide melee bonuses, so I don't know how good that will end up really being. But
I mean, it'll basically... I don't know. I think it'd be pretty good still.
yeah, I think it will be good. Like if you use like this, and you have Fremnik unlocked for the ring and the neck, and then you have
The neck.
and then you have like a scythe, you're gonna hit like incredibly hard
Yes.
and very accurately. But I mean, it's up to you.
Next in Corinth, I love that they chose this boss.
Yeah,
they
very
did,
weird.
They did Hispori, which I have a lot of experience with. So you are going to get Nature's Reprisal. The special effect can use all 3 combat styles similar to a salamander. So it's like a little nature salamander. Wait,
Yeah.
they're already kind of nature. They're
They
literal...
are salamanders.
Yeah. The magic base hit is your magic level minus 15 divided by 3 plus 3. And this is charged with nature and earth runes.
It's 1 nature and I think 3 earths.
Okay. Look at that range. The range attack is 155.
Yeah,
Melee
so
strength 103.
the accuracy is 95 stab, 45 magic, and 155 ranged. 103 melee strength, 92 range strength, 12% magic attack with a 5 hit rate, 4 on rapid,
Wow.
and a range of 7.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. It's kind of weird and niche, so I am more interested, not if it'll be good, but just where people plan on using it.
I mean, it could just be your general all-around weapon while you grind like the big boys.
It could be. I mean, you can use it for everything, apparently.
This one's fairly intense.
Yeah, so this one is...
They're really trying to get people to Varlamore too.
Yeah, this one is Soul Heredit. So this is I think the only one rated as quote unquote Grandmaster of all of these bosses
In difficulty.
in difficulty. And so this boss drops 2 items: the Sunlight Spear.
Sunlight Spear looks very pretty.
This is
The tiny
a
picture.
one-handed weapon, I'm almost certain of, and it has incredibly high defensive stats, as well as pretty good offensive stats as well. So it has a 125 stab bonus, 113 melee bonus. It has a range of 1, so you have to be right up on someone. And it has an attack rate of 5. And
Yeah.
it doesn't say that it's faster on. Oh, there's no rapid. So it's
Rapid spear.
yeah. So it's just a slow spear. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's two-handed or one-handed. It showed them using it with a shield, so I'm not sure. Anyways, though, it has a special effect which makes it so you gain sunlight, a stack of sunlight every attack, up to a maximum of 20. Whenever you want, you can spend 7 of these sunlight stacks to hit every NPC in a 3-tile radius, similar to the Soul Heredit special attack that hits in an area under him
Yeah.
that you're used to dodging if you fight this boss. And it's going to give 3 additional percent damage to this attack to all 3 tiles, to all 3x3 tiles, based on your prayer bonus. So if you have a 100 prayer bonus, for example, then you'll get 300% increased damage with this attack.
Keep your prayer high.
Yeah, so
I guess.
yeah, I don't know how you would stack 100. I feel like you probably could get really close in this league, if not just hit it. Because I mean, like I said, we just mentioned, you get 20 off of those 2 items, not including the pants and all that stuff. So you might be able to get close. I don't know.
They also have one more item. That's the Sunlight Bracers. Their special effect, all healing received is increased by 100%, additive with other modifiers. So that means like if you're healing with a shark, you will heal for 40.
Yeah, so instead of 20, you'll heal for 40.
Nuts.
All of the healing from a Blood Fury will be doubled. From Guthans
Wow,
will be
I didn't think
doubled.
about those.
From your Blood Barrages will be doubled.
So good.
And the gloves themselves aren't too bad. The stats are pretty good.
Yeah. Next up, we have something from today.
Yeah, this is
actually
the
just
newest,
released.
the newest dropped teaser.
This is a relic again. So this is called the...
Grimoire.
I was like, I'm not going to say it. I pronounced it wrong earlier and he bullied me.
So this is the Arcane Grimoire. It is a relic that you can unlock that gives you the ability to freely swap between any spellbook.
It also acts as a Book of the Dead.
And additionally, when you select this relic, you will unlock access to all prayers and all spells, regardless of area, quest, or diary requirements. You do have to apparently have the level to
it
cast
seems like
them.
that at least. I don't know if we're understanding correctly.
Yeah, let us know what you think, whether you have to have the requirements to cast like Fire Surge, or if you could just unlock this and immediately have access to Fire Surge.
I'm assuming you need the levels, but I don't know. It's leagues. Who knows?
You just be like level 10, bursting
Yeah,
mobs.
right.
That'd be kind of crazy, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is all the teasers we have so far. Next week we'll have another 7 teasers to go over though.
Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch.
Very cool.
Yeah,
every day. Go ahead and check out this blog if you guys want to see it. They're also putting it all on Twitter. And then who is it? I think Bork has been posting all their posts on Blue Sky again because they don't have one account yet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool if you don't want to go on Twitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we can finish this little blog off by talking about the FAQ that they have.
Yes. So, question, how long will Leagues 5 last?
8 weeks. That's
Okay.
pretty long. 2 whole months.
Yeah. Will we be getting a 4th area unlock with the addition of Varlamore, or will we still be limited to 3 unlocks?
Nope, it's still 3, so make sure to choose wisely. Again, you do auto-unlock Misthalin and Karamja at the start of the league, but you do only get 3.
Will we be able to buy Raging Echoes rewards on the GE, similar to rewards from previous leagues?
You skipped one, but yes.
I did skip one.
Yeah, you will be able to do everything like every other league, get the rewards, and buy them off the GE.
And then just backtracking real quick on that last question. Will Varlamore be its own unlock or added into another area's unlock?
No, like we mentioned, it will be its very own area.
But
so if you
I
want,
get it, but
you do get all the Perilous Moons, access to Huey Clodal, as well as the like Hunter's Rumors and stuff like that. So it's a pretty decent zone.
it's a nice alternative if you don't feel like doing like the God War dungeons. You
Yeah.
know, like that could be your outfits.
And you do get access to Soul Heredit, which means best in slot ranged cape, as well as incredibly good prayer gear, and obviously the 2 special items from his Echo.
And if you're like me, you could practice it.
True.
What will my starting stats be?
As with the previous years, you'll be starting off at Tutorial Island with 3 herb lore and 5 rune crafting, because both of those are locked by quests in areas you don't have originally, and they don't want to limit you, so same as always. The main difference is you'll no longer start with 10 agility, as Drainer only requires 1 agility now.
What content will be available in Leagues 5?
Any content, all of the content.
Everything
so
ever.
every minigame, everything like that. I know some people were suggesting recently that Soul Wars be removed from leagues because it's only
yeah, last year was busted.
it's only ever been used as an exploit essentially,
But I love it.
and I assume it'll be used for the same exact exploit this year, assuming there is some way to multiply the rewards like it did last year.
I hope so. Will Echo bosses replace the bosses they're based on, or will they be purely additional?
They are additional. So once you unlock them, then you can go and fight them as you like.
Or you could just go back to normal, sir.
Yes. And for bosses like Soul Heredit, once you do unlock the Echo version and you choose to fight the Echo version, you'll immediately skip all of the waves and just go to the boss.
Dude, that'd be painful if you had to keep doing all the waves every time.
Yeah.
Will we be able to use our points towards past league items even if we didn't play?
Yeah, so points earned in a league can be used to purchase rewards offered from all past and future leagues. So if you
I
don't
forgot about
like,
that last year.
Yeah, so if you don't like the stuff from this league, you can just save up and use them for next league without having to play.
Yeah. Will I require an Echo Orb for every attempt at an Echo boss?
No, it is permanent access. So it is a chance to drop from the boss, except for like Soul Heredit. It is 100% chance guaranteed. But for every other boss, it is a chance that the Echo Orb will drop. But once it does drop, it's permanent.
Last question. Will I be able to team up with my friends to defeat the Echo bosses?
No. Every Echo boss is solo only. No grouping for these.
No group Soul Heredit with the homies.
No. I am kind of surprised by that because of things like the DKs, but it does make sense.
Yeah. That is it, though. They have a little question thing here if you want to ask questions for the Q&A. And I guess they have a more detailed list that they say on here as well. I'm sure there'll be more, like, less fun questions and more, like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but less fun. I feel like they included fun ones.
I have no idea what you're
I'm being a hater for no reason. It's fine.
Okay, and then we can move on to questions.
Yeah, our Q&A.
Our Q&A. Shout out to Alakazam over on Spotify.
Alakazam. I thought it was Alexander. I don't know how to say your name.
Alakazam.
I don't know. Alakazam. Thanks for asking us the question on Spotify. So first question. What do you think about a KO spec weapon like Void Waker but doesn't work if you're Scold? Making it easier to get the Void Waker and cheaper, so people trying to do PVM in the Wildy can anti-PK easier with less of a price tag. I love this idea, actually.
I liked it a lot, and I
fun.
will sound like
you must elaborate.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a repeated robot to Michelle, because whenever she first brought this up,
we talked about it while I was driving home.
We talked about it, and I think it's a really good idea, but I thought of something that may be just a different look at it, or better. I don't know.
Sorry, he's one-upping you, Alakazam.
Yeah,
I know that's not your name either.
I kind of like my idea better.
I like Alakazam's more.
Okay. But anyways, theirs is saying it's specifically for anti-PKing, which is fine. You can use it for that, obviously. But I think it would potentially be cooler if it was an item that specifically did additional damage to Scold players, which all PKers are if you're anti-PKing them, obviously, unless you are like doing revs or something and you're Scold with the Avarice necklace, then obviously that wouldn't count there.
I was thinking even people rune crafting could get taken advantage of with this then.
What do you mean?
If they're just rune crafting, they're Scold.
Oh, if they're just, I guess
they're just in the abyss. And they're running out there like, ah.
Yeah, maybe just don't go to the abyss.
I am so sorry for him.
But yeah, I think that could potentially be cool because I think the PvP people might be more on board with that because it is also available to work as a regular PKing weapon if you're a Scold versus a Scold. Obviously, it would also still work for anti-PKing, but
I really like the idea of an anti-PKing weapon that specifically targets people who are trying to PK you. I
yeah,
think that's a very fun idea.
I think it's
It's something
cool.
that seems like we already have, to be honest.
Yeah, because the only real anti-PKing weapons that are like, really good at anti-PKing are like the Dragon Claws and the Void Waker, which are very expensive items.
Yeah, you might not be able to even get those in the first place.
Yeah,
I've never owned a Void Waker.
yeah. So I think this would be a good idea. I think it would be cool if it was like an LMS weapon or something, so that it was like really available
Yeah.
and like. But I wouldn't want it to be so strong that everyone had this weapon, obviously.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's kind of like a hard line to ride because you don't want it to be the only PKing weapon, obviously.
I think it would be such a good way to get more people into the wilderness, though, because then you're less scared to go bossing because you have something that you know. I mean, it might not immediately kill them, but at least you can mess them up more.
Yeah,
If you're like me, you're just spiteful and want to do some damage.
I still think they need to entirely overhaul the way the wilderness works, but
They might be.
no, they're not. But as it stands, I think this is a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah. We have a couple more questions from Discord. The first one is from Matt, who, by the way, said, I like how much Rob was trying to support my idea
Shout
of
out
the
to
mine carts
Matt
last week.
and Harger.
Just Matt.
Yeah.
Matt said, should Jagex introduce a new boss that needs an insane amount of players to kill, like 50? It's just a massive, massive god and takes out players really quickly, leaving a lot of casualties. But the price is huge if you win, and it's automatically split by the group. I think this is too much like Rathmaw to actually get approved. Because it's just a world boss, right?
Yeah, it is a world boss. I don't know. I think it is.
Make it work.
Man, it's tough because of the amount of bots in this game, right? But
Everything's gonna be botted. I just don't think about them.
I don't know because the way I'm trying to think about, like, okay, I obviously reference other games all the time, but World of Warcraft has a ton of world bosses in the game.
He's obsessed with WoW.
An absolute ton. And they don't ever really drop anything of value. They might drop like some gold, which is like not a big deal, but the thing that they drop is like unique mounts. So like if this boss dropped a pet, that would be kind of cool, but I don't know how they'll do with like if you try to translate it into OSRS, I don't know how they'll do it with like the MVP system.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying sometimes. Like next, sometimes the MVPs will keep going dry.
Yeah, and it's like if this does drop literally any loot, it's going to be botted to infinity and beyond, so the loot can't actually be very good. It would be lame if it's based on damage done, because then the new players would feel like it's not worth doing. So it's like a really tough spot is implementing a world boss into RuneScape.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible. I think they would have to invent a new loot system specifically for a world boss.
I think we will get a world boss eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll like it though. You know?
Yeah.
They really seemed excited about Rathmaw. I think that they're going to keep pushing for it somewhere else outside the wilderness.
I think it would have to be like weirdly restrictive in that like it would have to be like amount of time spent is equivalent to reward, and it's locked behind a quest that is locked behind like an amount of quest points.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be highly gated and something that people would want to do. Like it would still drop a pet or something, but it couldn't be based on damage, and it kind of really couldn't be based on the amount of time there. Like I don't know what it would be based on, because again, you don't want to feel like maybe it could be based on damage. Like maybe there is an MVP system, but it's just like a higher percent chance of getting the pet or something like that. And so I don't know, like proportional rewards are a thing as well. I think it's possible, but again, I think there would be a lot of hoops for
It'd be
people
hard
to jump
to make
through.
it work for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone is going to agree on it. I think it would, if it passed, it would be
Controversial.
a bare minimum pass.
Yeah. Harger actually had a fair point as well, saying, I find it unfair that an absolute noob could get all the same split as someone who did most of the damage, but I guess they all agree ahead of time. Which I think I get what you mean, but I kind of disagree, because I think I wouldn't think of it as an absolute noob. I would just think of it as someone who doesn't have all best in slot, you know, who's not wearing Torva with like the Rancor and the new rings and stuff with the scythe.
Yeah. That's why I think it might be a proportional amount of loot
Yeah, like
based on
everyone gets.
damage.
I think Kiwi's like that. Everyone gets the same drop, but depending on how much damage you did, is how much you get of it.
I was just thinking of like general value.
Oh,
It's like, oh, you guys were both there for 3 minutes, and in that time, this guy did 400 damage, and in that time, this other guy did 100 damage. It's like,
mm-hmm.
okay, so in general, you should get roughly 4 times as much GE value in items than
Jeez
this other guy.
Louise. Yeah,
Which I mean, that could be as simple as going from like one, rune plate body to 4 rune plate bodies. Like, it's still a good amount for the person that was there for a while, and for the lower level person, they're probably lower level and value the 1 rune plate body just as much as the other person valued 4.
mm-hmm.
Maybe that could work.
I like that.
But yeah, it wouldn't be. That's why I don't like the MVP system. Like at Corp, I think that's one of the worst systems
I
in the
hate that
game.
because that's only rewarding people of the best gear.
Yeah, which
Very rarely do I get it over dating who's there with like a Torva and stuff.
yeah, and at the end of the day, it is RNG. But if someone has way better gear, the chance of them getting it is just straight up higher.
Yeah.
So
Last question. This is from Harger on Discord. Do you think there should be more restaurants in OSRS? Maybe there could be a kebab shack in the desert that sells food, or a butcher shop in the wilderness that might help in case you desperately need food. I like that, and I like both of those ideas actually. Because sometimes in the desert, when you're like dying of thirst, and like, I know like there's a couple quests that if you try to do them, you have to like kind of wander around a little bit. Or if you're doing like Slayer. I don't know. I think that's a good idea because the desert is so empty mostly. And the wilderness, I think it'd be fun to have a food vendor in there.
yeah,
He'd have to be like a dangerous guy. But not
yeah,
too close to any of the bosses. And like not too deep in the wildy either.
yeah. I think honestly, I kind of feel like a lot of the areas in RuneScape these days have like a lot of open space, like a lot of unused space, and I think it would just in general feel nicer if it felt more lived in.
Yes.
So that would include restaurants and stuff like that.
I did see a
Because
meme. I think they're talking about like Skyrim, but they're like, this is the most populated city in the world. Like everyone lives here. There's so much lore and history, and it's like there's 50 NPCs.
yeah, or like less. I mean,
Yeah.
if you go to like Tierenwyn, right? There's not a lot of people there.
There's more than other places at least.
Exactly, but it's one of the like most like it technically there's thousands of people there,
Yeah.
but they're all in CG,
Inside,
right?
apparently.
Um, like the amount of players you see is incredibly low in Tierenwyn.
Oh, I thought you meant NPCs, not people.
Oh, NPCs is also low.
Well, there's a decent amount in Prif.
Yeah, there is.
Because I
But
click them all the time on accident.
the thing is they're all concentrated, and because
Yes.
the city is all concentrated. But
Mhm.
like if that's the exact problem with like the other areas is if you look at, I mean, I don't even know what the city is in
Letka?
Al Kharid.
Oh, Sophonim?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the thing is it's the same there where there's like the same amount of NPCs, but I guess that's my point is like Tierenwyn doesn't seem super populated, but it is technically one of the more populated cities. And if we transport that to the desert, you get Sophonim, which
Mm-hmm.
is probably equally as populated, but because the desert is so big,
Or maybe we're thinking Polnovnich. I don't know, it doesn't matter.
no.
Okay.
Well,
I'm getting all the cities confused. It doesn't matter.
either one. I mean, the thing is, there's not as many NPCs based on the size of the area.
Yeah, the desert's massive.
The reason Tierenwyn feels like there's more players or more NPCs there is because there's not a lot of area.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the swamp leading up to it, but that no one goes to. But
It's very pretty, though.
yeah, but like it's really just the city, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing outside of it. So that's why I think I don't know. There just needs to be more NPCs in general. I'd be down with like interesting restaurants here and there, or just like vendors, extra oases inside
Yeah.
of the desert.
I remember being low level, first going through the desert. Man, I was getting messed up
Yeah.
by the heat.
Or like maybe even like additional. I mean, this obviously I don't know the repercussions of this, but I'm just throwing out like maybe even like non-combat oases, quote unquote, in like the wilderness or something like that, where it's like
That's like Ferox.
yeah, because the only thing is Ferox, and then it's just PvP until 50.
They have like one single force field that's like a globe and it's like a wizard inside.
Yeah, and it
And
doesn't.
people could just wait
It,
outside for
it could
you.
be more thematic, you know. It's like maybe there's an area inside of like the rogues area or the
True.
thieves area where it's all like, all right, cool, this area is cool. If you step like past these guards, this shopkeeper is like super serious, and the guards will like kill you if you try to like PK players,
That's funny.
like something like that.
Yeah. Make it more fair fight.
Yeah,
I think that it would be nice to have them in those two places specifically, actually, I think are very good ideas.
yeah. But I mean, just in general, like also, you know, as a free to play player, this is super noticeable. But like the trip from Varrock to Falador, bro, there's like nothing in between.
Yeah.
You get to like the bridge where everyone's fishing, the barbarian village where there might be like, you know, 5 NPCs and like one real player, and then there's like nothing for like the next 2 minutes while you're walking.
There's that one statue that sometimes there's clues next to it.
Yeah, it's lame. Yeah, so there's stuff like that. Like, there's plenty of like stuff to add. The world
There's a lot
just
of
feels
little
little
places
empty.
that they could add stuff to.
Yeah,
That they have been over time, to be fair.
yeah. I think it would be cool, and I think it would be cool. An easy way to introduce like new foods to like slot into like different levels of food.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Do your spiel. I'm not prepared.
Okay.
You started.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. That is the end of the episode. If you want to be included in questions like we just mentioned, feel free to ask them on any of our socials or on the Say Baycast because we will be on there soon.
Yes. Our what is it called? Our social medias, our Twitter and TikTok are Bunebapeosrs. Our Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram are all just Bunebape. On Blue Sky and Twitter, I basically just post the same things, whichever one you're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. So go like hang out with me while I do stuff.
Yep.
Still no rap, by the way.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all.
Very soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle.
Hi, it's Bober.